inflation is always and everywhere a monetary phenomenon. It depends on how fast the money supply is growing. He's talking about things that deregulation's great. I'm all for it. I was on Reagan's Council of Economic Advisors. That was one of our main targets, is deregulation of the economy. And that does improve efficiency, improves potential growth rate in the economy, and it changes relative prices, but it doesn't change inflation. Inflation includes the prices of everything, a huge aggregate in the CPI, over 300 items. And I do agree with what Bessett said, that inflation will probably come down actually next year below the 2% target. But the reason for that is that the money supply since July of 2022, Martin, has been contracting. The stock of money measured by M2 in the economy today is lower than it was back in July of 2022. Now, that's only happened 4 times in the United States before. It's always led to recessions. And the other thing it always leads to is slower inflation, lower inflation rates. Right now, the money supply, by the way, is growing at 2.6% year over year, and that's below Hanke's golden growth rate of 6%, which is consistent with hitting a 2% inflation target. So inflation is going to keep coming down. We had a little uptick, as you know, the last number that came out went from 2.4 to 2.6, but that's just a blip. It'll keep trending down. The inflation story is over. It's baked in the cake because the money supply has been contracting in the United States. So that's the end of the story.
Okay, so Steve, you're confident that inflation, based on the CPI, retail prices, sticker prices, are going to be able to hit 2% by next year?
They'll be lower than 2%. Next year, we'll get some numbers that are below 2%. All this talk about Trump's policies are going to cause inflation to kick up again is just nonsense. It depends on what the Fed is doing and what the monetary policy picture looks like with the money supply.